Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. So Jadeveon Clowney agreed to a 2-year, up to $24 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. I know a lot of us, including myself, really wanted Jadeveon Clowney back. We also lost another free agent that I'll talk about later in this episode, but let's stick with Clowney now. This one stings. We've obviously had a ton of departures throughout this offseason, which is to be expected. I'm not surprised about the Patrick Queens and even the role guys like Duvernay and Darby and guys like that. I'm not shocked at all. Gus Edwards is another one. Those make a lot of sense. Clowney was just a guy that I really wanted back because I felt like he was the perfect pairing to Owe and young emerging David Ojabo that we really don't know what we have in yet. And to put Owe and Ojabo out there and be like, this is all we got with, I guess the depth is Tavius Robinson and Malik Ham. I am high on Robinson, but to expect him to be Jadeveon Clowney is ridiculous. Would be incredible if he takes a huge leap like that, but that's not to be expected at all. So at this point as we stand, there's a lot of weight on Odafe Owe and David Ojabo. And I feel like Clowney played the perfect role for us last year. He had his greatest year of his career. He's an athletic freak, and he obviously chose to take the money and be closer to home. So I'm not sitting here saying that he made a bad decision by any means. He prioritized being close to his family and building a community again in Carolina and taking the biggest payday. I think the Jets were the other team interested. The Ravens were definitely interested. But 2 years up to $24 million is a nice paycheck for him. I definitely don't see the Ravens ever getting that close for him. And the Ravens offseason thus far, it's still early, but they're being pretty conservative in my mind. I know we're tight against the cap. Signing Justin Madubuike to the deal that he got obviously was something that some of us didn't quite expect either until it got closer to happening. And I think that really just made us tight against the cap, and the Ravens don't want to be too aggressive. And this is how they've kind of played ball for a long time. They do business this way. They find value deals. They find the Jadeveon Clowneys. Then they ball out, hopefully, like he did. And then now he's going to net a 5th-round comp pick, probably. So it's not a bad business move by the Ravens. It's just tough, especially when you don't see that replacement there. Yes, Kyle Van Noy's still out there, and I would love to bring him back, but he plays a different role than Jadeveon Clowney did. He's not as much of a disruptor on the line and in the run game that Clowney is. He doesn't have the same athletic, freakish traits that Jadeveon Clowney does. So this one hurts. There's definitely a hole there now. This created a pretty big hole at edge, and I don't mind going with Odafe Owe and David Ojabo. I just want a veteran there that we can rely on to be in that rotation because it's very risky to go in with those two as just your two main guys. So we'll see what happens. There's still a long offseason. We didn't have Jadeveon Clowney on our roster at this point last season, and we were like, oh, man, who's going to be edge? We were kind of in the same spot, really, when you think about it. Erased the David Ojabo injury, but he was still coming off that Achilles. And then we're in the same spot. We're like, we need depth there. We need more pass rushers. And I think we're in that same spot again. And the Ravens chose to not pay up, and I get that strategy. They're going to try to find value. I'm sure they will make another move. I'm actually positive they will make another move, whether that's investing in a younger pass rusher in the draft or getting a veteran like a Kyle Van Noy or someone else out there. They can always make a trade. There's going to be cuts later in the offseason, so ton of options to fill that hole, and this roster is not going to be complete until the season's here. We saw that last year. We signed Van Noy into the season. So, the Ravens don't rush to make moves. Obviously, our big ticket free agent item is Derrick Henry and Justin Madubuike. and we got those locked up. I think those are incredible additions, and now they're going to have to really do some work on finding some more value guys because they clearly don't want to spend much, and they don't want to risk their future cap situations by overspending right now and being too aggressive, which is the way they've always operated and the only way that they've been able to remain competitive year after year. As much as it sucks, as a fan, I'm like, just go all in. Like, we're right here. Like, we're right at the door. Like, let's just stack the team again. But they might stack the team again. It'll just be with names that we're not really talking about right now. So we'll see what's going to happen. There's a lot of moves left, but that edge position is clearly a big hole right now. Another potential free agent signing that we've been talking about and that the Ravens had a visit with last week was Josh Reynolds, wide receiver. I talked about how I'd love for him to be our wide receiver 3/4 with Nelson Aguilar. Well, he just signed a 2-year deal with the Denver Broncos today for $14 million. That one doesn't hurt as much as Clowney because Clowney was here and proved himself last year, but I definitely wanted Josh Reynolds. I wanted Josh Reynolds over Michael Gallup. Not that I'd be mad if we signed Michael Gallup. Adding depth at any position, I'm fine with. I want as much talent on the team as possible. So if we add Gallup or another receiver, that's fine too. I definitely think another receiver move has to be made, though. It's like edge. It's just you can't go in with just Zay, Rashad Bateman, and Nelson Aguilar. I love all three of those guys. I believe in all three of those guys. But you need more, just even as a safety net in case of an injury. You know, you can give Rashad and Zay their chance to be the 1 and 2 and see how that goes. But you need a fallback option. You need depth there. You need veterans stepping up. You need younger talent potentially from the draft that's going to rise and come up. I mean, you just need more talent there. There's no way that we can just go with those three. So there's a small hole at receiver. I think there's a bigger hole at edge because at receiver, we know that we pretty much hit on Zay Flowers. I can't see Zay falling off. I can't see his game not evolving, and I can't see his production slowing down. This guy had an incredible rookie season, and what he can do on the football field is going to stay around. He's going to make an impact for years to come. So I think we're good with a star receiver in Zay Flowers. Now, could we get another one? Yes. Could Rashad Bateman become a star? Yes. All that would be amazing, but that hole at edge seems to be a little bit more concerning to me. But regardless, it's a long offseason. We're in the end of March, and we don't play football till September. There's a lot of cuts that teams are going to make when they're trying to cut down their roster for the regular season. So there'll be available guys that we want and that the team wants, and I think they just wait it out. Ozzie used to have this strategy. If you've been a Raven fan for a long time, Ozzie was never the splash guy. Eric DeCosta is actually way more aggressive than Ozzie was. Ozzie was, let's stay patient. The right guy will become available for the right price. That's a perfect fit for our team that we're all like, man, how'd we get that guy? That's going to happen at some point. I don't know who that player is. DeCosta might not know who that player is. He might be cut in August, and then we're like, hey, come on over. We got a spot for you. And make a trade if needed. If you really need to fill a hole desperately, Eric DeCosta has been proven to pull the trigger on a trade. I mean, he's done it with Roquan Smith. He tried to do it last year for Derrick Henry. He did it with Marcus Peters a few years ago. He did it with Yannick Ngakoue. I know that one didn't work out as well. So Eric DeCosta is not afraid to make a trade. So I think we'll be fine. We'll obviously have a better picture of all this when the season's actually here. So I think we'll still be a great team. Will we have the best record in the NFL? I don't know. Probably not. We have a really hard schedule. I think this year could be more of a dogfight, but it doesn't matter. We had the best record in the NFL twice in the last 5 years. I want a Super Bowl. I don't care about the best record in the NFL. I don't care about the number 1 seed. Let's just get into the dance healthy and go on a run. But let me know your thoughts about it. Let me know if there's other options, other players that you see would be a good fit to bring in or potentially trade for. I'm always interested to hear more ideas. If you're still watching at the end of the episode, drop a comment that you're still watching. I love to see who watches the whole episode. You guys are the real ones. But I won't be posting a video until like next Wednesday. I got some family stuff to deal with and I have to travel, so no more videos. This will be the last one until a week from now. So if there's any news or whatever, I'll be active on X, but I probably won't make a full YouTube video like this until 1 week from today. But then I'll be back on a normal routine, making videos about everything going on. I just want to let you guys know, be transparent, that I got some things to take care of. But I appreciate your guys' support as always. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.